Still, a lot of the headlines today are how Taylor Swift was subpoenaed. She wasn't subpoenaed necessarily. It was now her law firm was subpoenaed for communications. This tells me maybe that Brian Freeman has some things up his sleeve that we still don't know about. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some things going on with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively for filing this fake lawsuit in order to get the sham subpoena. And again, it just makes me really wonder Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's entire friendship. Because if it was me, right, and I was being repeatedly sexually harassed on set, you're calling your bestie, you're talking to your bestie, you're texting your bestie, right? And I mean, and in Blake's own lawsuit and her amended complaint, she says how she was texting other females, other co-stars, number one, as well as a friend of hers and Justin's, and was complaining to them about it, how she's dreading going back on set, how they're creeps, how there's clowns, etc., etc., etc. So why wouldn't she be texting her best friend this? Now, as her best friend, Ms. Taylor Swift, if that was me and I was being, subpoenaed for my communications, I would be like, here you go. Here's everything. Here's every text message that my best friend sent me about Justin's behavior. Here's every text message that she sent me, how disturbed she was about the birthing scene and how she was crying to me after it happened. Here's the text messages when she was going through a depression and not able to leave her house because of the smear campaign. Here it is. And I want this monster to go down. So yes, Justin was doing this to my best friend. Here's the proof. Do you know what I mean? I would go to war with the truth and God behind me if this was happening to my best friend. I would show everything. Which this tells me that number one, Blake is lying. Don't like to say it, but why not show the truth? Or number two, Taylor does have a bigger part in this whole film takeover than she's willing to admit. But something weird is going on, or maybe they're not even best friends. It seems like Taylor Swift is a lot more close to Ryan Reynolds than she is to Blake Lively, even though they do these event pictures together, Super Bowl pictures and what have you. Because Taylor, she reposted some of the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff. She's reposted things with Ryan Reynolds. She, from what I know, prove me wrong, from what I'm aware of, Taylor Swift never reposted anything about It Ends With Us or Blake Lively. And I remember seeing an interview on the red carpet with Blake Lively, and if someone can find this little clip, I couldn't find it this morning, but it came to my head when I was thinking about this, that there is a clip where when Taylor Swift was on tour, something happened with the arena she was supposed to perform. There was a threat or whatever, and, a threat like that. It was evacuated or something. I remember that. And Blake Lively was asked about it on the red carpet, and the way she dismisses the question and moves on completely, to me, maybe Blake was really good at using Taylor Swift as leverage, but didn't ever want Taylor Swift to overshadow her on this film. And that to me screams, again, a little bit of jealousy in your friendship or anything like that. So I don't really know what's going on, but it is baffling. It is really on my mind, why wouldn't Taylor, if this was her best friend or even her friend, why not just show the messages? Why not just be like, here is every time she texted me about this creep, Justin Baldoni, and I want him to pay because this happened to my friend. Here you go. Dun, 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 dun. Which tells me if they're fighting so hard to not show that, then one, it either didn't happen, or two, there's a lot more going on under the surface that we know about right now. But I think Brian Freeman is definitely onto something, and I think some things are about to go down. Serious.
A few moments later.
You can't even make this up. As I was making this video, that was the last motion. 2 more have been submitted, and it's from the judge. we're going to go over it because this just in, you know what I mean? This just in. And the judge has granted part of Lively's motion and also denied part of her motion. What he has denied is documents from Abel and Nathan. He's denied from Baldoni, Heath, and Sorit certain documents. And the requests for tax returns have been denied. Okay, what he has granted is a few other things, documents from other things from the agency tag he's approved, and also from some stuff from the Wayfarer Studios. So we're going to go over them right now. We're going to go over that. And the next thing is we have another letter from Brian Freeman. This is Brian J. Freeman here that has sent this in. This is on May 14th. It's just arrived. And let's see what it is. It's only 2 pages. We'll get right into it. We write in response to the letter filed by plaintiff consolidated defendant Blake Lively, Miss Lively, and consolidated defendant Ryan Reynolds, together the Lively defendants, regarding their requested intervention in an action in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, seeking to quash the Wayfarer Party subpoena, the subpoena to Venable LLP. So they really then went to the District of Columbia. The Wayfarer parties anticipate that Venable's motion to squash will be mooted in short order, as their counsel and Venable are conferring in good faith. So, wait a second. Venable is actually conferring and working alongside them in good faith, it says, but then Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are trying to squash the subpoena. That's what they're alleging. However, the Lively defendants insistent that the subpoena seeks irrelevant information is wrong. Look at this. Look how this is wrong. Bold letters. Wow. The subpoena aims to obtain discovery relating to witness tampering and evidence spoliation. The subpoena aims to obtain discovery relating to witness tampering and evidence spoliation. Specifically, the Wayfarer Party's counsel are informed and believed, based on information from a source who is highly likely to have reliable information, that 1. Miss Lively requested that Taylor Swift delete their text messages. 2. Michael Gottlieb of Wilkie Farr, counsel for the Lively defendants, contacted a Venable attorney who represents Miss Swift and demanded that Miss Swift release a statement of support for Miss Lively, intimidating that if Miss Swift refused to do so, private text messages of a personal nature in Miss Lively's possession would be released. The Wayfarer Party's counsel are further informed and believe that a representative of Miss Swift addressed these inappropriate and apparently extortionate threats in at least one written communication transmitted to Mr. Gottlieb. It is those communications that the Wayfarer Party seek to obtain by way of subpoena, as they would evidence an attempt to intimidate and coerce a percipient witness in this litigation. As stated, the Wayfarer Party's counsel are in active discussion with Venable to determine how to proceed. Should those discussions prove unfruitful, the Wayfarer parties will either oppose the motion to squash or withdraw the current subpoena in favor of an amended subpoena seeking only the communications in question. Oh my gosh. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were threatening Taylor Swift's people to put out a statement, or they were going to leak information. Oh, no way. Oh my gosh. This just in, May 14th, Brian Freeman said it. We have answers. I don't even know what to say. I'm so stunned right now, guys. And next, I was just going to go over some of your comments, and some of your comments are about the Taylor Swift, and now I'm like, we have answers. This is, as I was doing this video, what was I saying at the beginning of this video? Things are about to go down. Brian Freeman knows some stuff. OMG, that was a wild ride.